This is Support is Sexy, episode 32, with fitness expert and Girl Fit founder, Holly Del Rosso. Welcome to the Support is Sexy podcast. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, producer, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I talk to women entrepreneurs who share their journeys and the true stories of their wins and their lessons, and give you insight and inspiration to take your business and your life to the next level. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I am happy to have you here because you know it just would not be the same without you. So today we have some good stuff from Holly Del Rosso, who is a fitness expert and founder of a program for young women living in South Central and East Los Angeles called Girl Fit, which is a great program about not only teaching them how to be fit, but giving them information on how to take care of themselves. So Holly talks to us about that, also about her own journey, going through a tough time in childhood or a tough experience during her childhood, and really how that built up her resilience as a person as she moved on this journey to become a fitness expert, to work with celebrities. And she ended up eventually on Dr. Oz and in Shape magazine and Self magazine from some of the work that she did. But what Holly shares with us today is the importance of having someone in your corner who tells you to get back out there and fight. Also, what working out does for women entrepreneurs and how it helps us. Why going above and beyond is a key to success. Also, what people misunderstand about the fitness industry. There's so much out there about how glamorous it is, but there's a lot that goes into becoming a fitness expert, a trainer, etc. Holly also talks about the 3 top tips for getting fit and eating healthy in a way that makes sense for you and for your lifestyle. And she also talks about how business coaches and mentors should be a part of your team. I'm a big believer in that as well. Another surprise that Holly gave to us, which I was very excited about, and some of you may already know this, I'm probably late to the party, but she gives us one of her favorite recipes for making homemade almond milk, because in this episode, she talks about the importance of not eating so much processed food, how you can make more things at home in a way that's easier than most of us think. A lot of times doing that sounds like a lot to do, but Holly gives us one of her favorite recipes. So you'll see that in the show notes if you go to ElayneFluker.com and search for Holly, and you'll see that recipe there. So without further ado, not going to keep you from it anymore, Holly Del Rosso. So Holly, thank you so much for joining us for an episode of Support is Sexy. I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Great. So I have to ask you the first question I ask everyone. When did you first fall in love with entrepreneurship?
I probably was around 8 years old, and my family immigrated here from Italy. So my grandfather and my grandmother immigrated here during the war, and they were always telling me their stories about how they came here and they started their own artichoke farm. And that was just the beginning of their success in the farming industry. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. You just come to America and you make something of yourselves and you have no boss. You're your own boss. And I just thought it was beautiful. And it was always something that I had in my heart to do, and just living a dream that almost you create for yourself.
Right. I love that. Now, you're from San Francisco originally, right?
Yes.
What was Holly like as a little girl?
Oh, well, I love animals. I'm a vegan and a really crazy animal rights activist.
Are you one of the crazies?
I will change myself to a factory farm. No, but yeah, so I loved animals. I had, and it was weird. I'm a city girl, but we broke some rules and we turned our backyard into a little duck and chicken area. So I had 2 chickens and 4 ducks. So for show and tell, I would bring my favorite duck, Butterfinger, to school with me.
Butterfinger.
Yeah, Butterfinger was just the love of the class, and I was really popular because I brought my duck to school sometimes. Totally normal in San Francisco.
Right. So now the chickens and ducks, was that your idea, or was your whole family into having animals around? Did they do that to satisfy you, or you have a family that's like that?
Yeah, they absolutely loved animals. I was raised vegetarian. My mom was an animal rights activist. So she was like, you want a duck? Sure, I want a duck too. So
now, what would you say were your greatest influences growing up?
I Oh my goodness, so many. Probably my aunt. My mom left when I was 12, and so my great aunt raised me. Sort of, she kind of like took the reins and taught me everything I needed to know. So she really influenced me and told me and showed me what it was to be a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And she was very entrepreneurial and did a lot of investments. Her dad came here from Italy, so she really showed me what it was to take the reins and you're in America, you're in the best place in the world. Look at what you can do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So she really instilled in me those values, family values, and also entrepreneurial values that I remind myself of at least 10 times a day.
Right.
She passed a couple years ago, but before she passed away, I had all these videos of her lined up because I'd be like, all right, Auntie, I know we know you're not going to be around forever. You're 90 years old. Let's do a bunch of motivational videos for me when I get older.
Oh my gosh. How long ago did you do that?
I did them for like probably 6 months before she passed.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like 20 videos of her talking, and she
That's
likes to talk. So she was very influential in my life and my brother's life as well. And it was just such a blessing that I got to capture that. And thank you, Apple, for inventing our smartphones. So
I love
great.
that. That's such a great. I mean, my parents are older; they're in their 80s, and on a recent trip, maybe a few months ago, I can't remember when it was, but I did the same with my mom. I sat her down. We were out on the deck, and I just like, let's just talk. I'm going to interview you. Of course, she's like, interview? Are you putting this on the Facebook? I was like, no, this is just for me, just to have. I think it's so important because we hear the stories, and then if they pass or when they pass on, it's inevitable. And if we can't remember all of the things and all of the stories, and we have pictures and those things, but having them speak to you is just really phenomenal. I'm going to do it over a period of time like you did. I'm inspired by that.
Oh my goodness. And then you can show your kids one day,
Right. Oh, that's beautiful. Now, you said your mom left the family, and then you went to your grand aunt. This is who you ended up staying with, or who raised you after that.
Yeah. So my dad, I lived with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I turned 18, I lived with my auntie. So she really just helped and taught me everything I needed to know. And she was tough.
Right. That's what family
immigrants,
does. Yeah, you step up. I love
tough
that.
family, but tough love at the same time.
That's great. Now, was fitness always a part of your life? Were you a kid that liked, I don't know, how does it become a part of your life?
I was such a tomboy, and you're having a dad raise me. I was always wearing workout clothes. I just didn't even think twice. I'm like, what are jeans? I'm wearing soccer gear.
Right.
In gymnastics from age 8 until 17, and so I just loved being part of a team, and I loved working out. The feeling you get, the accomplishment you get after a good 6-hour gymnastics workout.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing beats that. So I was always jumping around, always moving. And I joined Gold's Gym. I think I was allowed to join when I was 16. So then I started running on the treadmill, lifting weights. And I just felt empowered by it, being strong and healthy. And I think once you start working out, you can never stop.
Mm-hmm.
It just becomes something you fall in love with. And it's a regimen that, you have to look forward to that every day. And I'm not doing the same workouts I was doing when I was 16, or I'd be so bored right now. But I think it's very important for kids to be in sports so they can learn discipline. They can learn all these things that sports teach you. And then the importance of being on a team.
Mm-hmm.
Teamwork, having friendships, like, hey, that girl was nasty to me, but she's on my team, so I have to be her friend.
Right. And learning how to work through those conflicts, right?
Absolutely. And speaking up for yourself, I think being on a team can really teach you a lot about that. And just getting what you want out of life. Saying like, hey, I want to skip that practice. I want to go hang out with my friends, or, you're able to create boundaries. So it's amazing for social maturity and emotional maturity as well.
Now, when did it become what I call that thing for you, as far as fitness, where you said, you know what, I could turn this into something that is a lifestyle for me and also a business, more importantly? Or did you do some other things first? How did you get to the point where you decided to be a personal trainer, a fitness expert, and all the things you do now?
So I graduated right when the recession hit, 2008, from San Francisco State, and I majored in studio art. So entrepreneur Holly just wanted to, I'm just going to open my own art studio in New York City, and I'm just going to have so many people coming in. I'm going to have a gallery showing every week. I had this lofty dream. So right when I graduated, I was like, I don't care if there's a recession. I'm moving to New York. So moved to New York, got my butt kicked. I was there for the worst winter, apparently, that they had ever experienced. I think it was like the Snowmageddon time, one of those times.
Right.
So what happened was I was interning at an art museum for those 9 months, not getting paid anything. And, you know, when your grandma and grandpa talk about I had to walk 8 miles in the snow or whatever to get to work, well, I had to freeze my butt off walking from the house that I was staying at to the subway in Queens, and then walking all those avenues all the way to Chelsea Piers, because it was all the way near the water.
Yes, I know that walk. I've done it before.
Oh, it's miserable. And then me, California girl, you know, I'm not prepared for winter in New York. So I paid my dues in the art world.
Did you know anyone here before you came here? Sorry to interrupt you. Oh, how did you find, so what was in Queens? Was it someone you found to stay with there?
I just responded to this amazing girl's ad on Craigslist, and she's a sweetheart. She's in publishing at Penguin, and she's from Miami. And by the grace of God, she just accepted me as her roommate without even meeting me.
Wow.
So it was pretty funny.
And then she's from Miami, you're from California, and you're both trying to navigate a winter in New York.
Yes, that was really interesting. We had the heater cranked to like 78 the whole winter. It was pretty funny. So long story short, the the art museum closed. And I was like, okay, what do I do now? I'm going to try to be a waitress it's called Bob's Chowder House. And it's still there. It's right next to Lincoln Center. And I miserably failed. It was a mess. So then I cried. And I decided I had to go back to San Francisco. And that's when, within 2 weeks being back, I was like, you know what? This is crazy. I love helping people. I love working out. I'm going to become a trainer. So I got my first certification, and I started working at Crunch in downtown San Francisco. And I just fell in love with helping people lose weight and feel good. It just clicked with me. And I still painted, and I still, said maybe one day I'll have an art gallery. But just that gratification you receive from giving yourself to other people, and like I'm able to serve them and help them with what I've learned my whole life. It's just the best feeling. And then to get paid for that on top of it, I was like, this is a match made in heaven. I love it.
Right. And I really wanted to hear your story too, because I think sometimes we forget to look at the things that we were naturally good at or that we naturally enjoyed and think of, not that you didn't enjoy art or that kind of thing, but it's like, that's another thing you enjoy. But then there's this thing that you've been doing the whole time that you didn't think at that point to tap into. But then sometimes you need to go through those experiences of being a bad waitress or interning in the middle of winter and that kind of thing before you're like, you know what, I got to figure something else out.
Oh yeah, it was pretty funny. I was like, wait, what did you order? And they're like, I just told you. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, I'm just going to bring your appetizer and your dinner out at the same time.
Bad waitress.
Like, I really got my butt kicked in New York. These people were so mad at me. Oh my goodness. But I ended up coming back to New York after I got my first personal training certification. I did great in San Francisco. My aunt was just speaking life into me, just cheering me on. And she's like, you can do this. You were made for this. Go back to New York, be that celebrity personal trainer that you want to be. And she was just like, hey, our family came to America with a suitcase and a dream. you get your butt out there and you do it and you make me proud.
Oh, I
So
love
I'm like,
it.
okay.
What made her, what do you think made her, like maybe it was just who she was, but what do you think made her say, no, you can do this, get back out there? Did you think she saw in you that this was that thing that really lit you up, so to speak?
Yeah, she's like she would always say you're so good with people, and she would always say you have an amazing personality, Holly. And you know how dads are, they're not the most and vocal people. So what my dad didn't say, she did. So I
Mm.
could just latch on to everything she said, and I'm like, oh, you do believe in me. Someone in this cruel world really believes in me. So but I think it was from her experience, seeing her family of farmers bust their butts out in San Francisco in the fog, in the freezing cold, and make something of themselves through their hard work. And she would always say, Rome was not built in a day. She would watch a lot of Fox News, and she would say, "You millennials think that you can just show up, and you don't have to, you don't have to, whatever, toil the earth or what. I don't know anything about farming, but do
Told
something to the
the
soil."
soil, yes.
Soil.
Toil the soil.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to work hard. I'm one of those people. It's in me. So I went back to New York after 3 months of being in San Francisco. I had already racked up a full client base, because when you do what you love to do, people notice. They notice that you're not counting the stopwatch down. They notice that you're taking extra time and care with them. And so they really believed in me. I believed in them. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going back to following my dream, going back to New York. That was my plan all along. And during that time, I was with my auntie. She had type 2 diabetes and just a slew of other health problems. And through cooking the healthy food that I was eating, cooking that same type of food for her, she was able to lose weight. Her cholesterol dropped, her blood sugar dropped exponentially. So I was like, wait a second, I really can do this. I helped her. I kind of nursed her back to health. And so going back to New York, I really had that confidence that I can do this. And then I moved to the Upper East Side. So I was like, I want to be a celebrity trainer. And like 3 years of torture. New York is a really hard place. It finally happened.
So how did you, that's fantastic, first of all, that you were able to nurse your auntie, because seeing someone you love make those changes, especially as a result of something that you're providing them, whether it's information or actual food, is a really powerful thing. Like you said, instilling confidence in you and what you're doing, especially.
Absolutely.
I love that. So how did you find your clients, though, when you first went back to San Francisco? Because you said you built this client list and, did really well. I know that's something that personal trainers and a lot of people just struggle with. Where do you start? What was your first step in getting a client?
So I actually worked at a big box gym. I worked at Crunch, and I worked there for about those 3 months, but I didn't have a client until 2 weeks into it.
Oh, so these were clients through the gym.
Exactly.
Got it.
And that makes it a lot easier. And I highly recommend that to anyone who's starting out in an industry where you need people in front of you to show them how good you are, to show them your passion. Even though I didn't have any experience, personal training, I walked in there like I was just like, okay, well, I'm gonna teach them what I basically do to myself. And obviously, I have great blood pressure, and my numbers are good, and I can run 7 miles without stopping. And, I was like, I'm just going to do the same thing to them. I'm going to show them how to eat right. I'm going to show them that they can do this and just transform their lives. And yeah, so then I moved to New York and I worked at Equinox for 3 months. And I don't like being told what to do in life. So I was like, goodbye, Equinox. Great company, but, I just could not have someone tell me what to do because there's a component missing when you work for a company. They don't take the care that's needed with each individual client. And I really felt like I want my clients to be able to text me at any time of the day or night. I want them to be able to shoot me any questions they have throughout the day. And I want to be paid according to what I'm worth and my time is worth. And so I just kind of taught myself how to do it. I just put myself in their position. What would I want from a trainer? what are the things that I would want? I would want someone to go above and beyond. And it's the people who go above and beyond that really make successful businesses.
I love that. So did you, from that, did you transition into working with clients individually?
Yeah. So right away after I quit, I think it was just one person who referred 15 people to me.
Wow.
It was amazing. And that's how I've been on the top shows, the top magazines in America. But the strongest piece of marketing is just word of mouth referrals.
Referrals.
It really is. So every single client I've ever gotten has been through referral.
That's amazing. And I'm so glad you made that point because, of course, because you've been on Dr. Oz, you've been in Shape magazine or Self or both,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And all of those things, which is great for, image and appearance and those kinds of things and letting other people know. But like you said, it's so powerful, word of mouth and referrals.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just like with social media, people say it's such a strong marketing tool or just avenue for referrals because you're essentially getting it from a friend or someone you trust. You've quote unquote friended,
That's right.
Yeah, that's great. That's amazing. So what do you find is the biggest fitness hurdle for most of us, especially being this is a show for women?
Okay, so for entrepreneurs out there, the hardest thing is to take that hour to yourself because you're saying, okay, I just got to get in those 8 to 10 hours or 12 hours and just really focus on the business. But you are your business. So if you take care of yourself and do strength training and cardio about an hour a day, your business is going to go farther than you ever had dreamed because you're going to have self-confidence. And as entrepreneurs, we need that. And we need to express that through our body language. So if you're training, you're working out, your shoulders are going to go back. Your chin's going to just naturally be held high. So you're going to feel like, hey, I'm a machine.
Right. I can do this. I can focus.
It's so important to take care of your temple and eating right. You're not going to feel so sluggish. So start with cutting out processed food. Just the basics, get back to the basics. Instead of buying store-bought waffles, frozen waffles, make your own waffles and then freeze them. Staying away from sodas, staying away from sugar if you possibly can, or just limiting your quantities. But I always tell people, don't cut anything completely out of your diet. Do as the French do, small portions. But as long as it's whole foods, you should be okay as long as you're moving a little bit each day.
Two quick questions before. These are great tips. I was going to ask you your 3 tips. One, with cutting out sugar, because I've been trying this too. Sugar is in, other than water, almost, Holly, seriously, almost everything, right? Like even I drink, I don't drink whole milk. I drink almond milk and I'm just reading the label like, oh, there's sugar in it. Like it's sugar in. So when people say cut out sugar, I think it's good advice. But how do we really, especially as entrepreneurs, as when there's things that we're going to eat, but we're like, I'm not eating sugar, but actually you are. Or even also another question about fruit. There's sugar in fruit as well. So what's your opinion on that? I know every diet is different, but.
Yeah, so sugar in fruit is totally fine. You're not going to eat a whole watermelon, but it's a simple sugar. So it's not like a cane sugar. It's not like high fructose corn syrup. It's totally fine for you. There are those dietitians who, and maybe still some celebrities who have cookbooks out that warn against fruits, right. But really they're low glycemic index. Your blood sugar is not going to go spiking out of control because you had a banana.
Right.
But trying to focus on foods that are not packaged will help kind of deter you away from the hidden sugars. And sugar there's a lot of stuff in almond milk that people don't know about, and it's super easy to make. I'm a really busy entrepreneur, and sometimes I make my own almond milk, and it doesn't take that long.
Wait a minute. You make your own almond milk?
Yeah.
That's healthier? That's healthier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have a recipe? Do you have one on your website or something? Or can we get a recipe from you that we can? Okay, everyone. So Holly has said on the show that she is going to give us an almond milk recipe or how to. We're going to link to her website so we can all find it. If it's not already up, that'll be great. And we're going to send people to your website anyway, but I know this is partly me being selfish because I want to know, but I think it'll be good because I think that's one of the things too, that we don't know how many things we can make ourselves. And I think like your tip about waffles, for example, people might think, oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make waffles every time, but just that simple tip, make them and freeze them. which is the same thing as, well, it's not the same thing, it's better, but as far as convenience wise, you're not having to do the whole batter and everything every time. That's a good hack, Holly. That's a very good one.
Diet hacking.
Diet hacking. It's so good. Okay. So I'm sorry. So you were saying about sugar, no packaged food. Is there one other thing that we should really do as a first step?
Yeah, try to drink more water. So the first thing we want to do as entrepreneur ladies, we want to chug down coffee. And we're getting tired during 2-3 o'clock p.m. and we don't know why. And it's because we're not hydrated. So a lot of people think that they're hungry when they're really just dehydrated. A lot of people think they're tired when they just need more water. So I know this sounds crazy, but try to get at least a gallon of water per day if you're exercising. If you are not exercising, try to do, let's say, 75% of a gallon. For all my mathematicians out there, I don't know what that is, but try to just always aim for a gallon and stay safe. And you'll notice your skin's going to start glowing. You might have to make a couple more bathroom trips, but
but that's good because that means it's cleansing your system, right?
Exactly. And it is going to speed up your metabolism anywhere from 3 to 5%, which, hey, I'll take it.
What do you think about naps? I know you mentioned sometimes we think we're tired, but we really need more water. There are some people who, if you can manage that during your day, that's not accessible for everyone. But some places like Huffington Post, for example, I was consulting there for a while. They have nap rooms because Ariana is very much about sleep and all of that. So what do you think about naps during the day or whenever when you feel tired, or power naps? Is that something we can use?
Absolutely. I am high energy, just naturally somehow. It's just, I don't know, God just decided to gift me with this crazy energy. So I don't usually nap unless I have a 5 a.m. client and I'm dying at like 1 p.m. You could do a 30-minute, 45-minute nap. I would just suggest getting more sleep because you really want to get that REM in there. You really want that full 8 hours if possible. And if you can't, shoot for a nap. A nap pod sounds amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Ariana Huffington, you are just fantastic.
So let me ask you about you. What's your morning routine like, and your diet? What do you do? Let's just say your morning routine for focus, because I think starting the day is tough for a lot of people in addition to those midday crashes or cravings.
Sure. So I usually have a client anywhere from 6 a.m. To 7 a.m. starting the day. So I'll do steel cut oats with some berries on top. Really make sure that you're getting organic berries. Our country heavily sprays pesticides on everything now, including wheat, which is why a lot of people are having celiac and other wheat intolerances. So just make sure everything is organic, especially you want to look at the Clean 13 and the Dirty Dozen. It's the list of foods that you could possibly go without eating organic, and foods that you definitely should buy organic, and berries are on there.
Are those resources I can link to, the Clean 13 and the Dirty Dozen?
Yes. Okay. So you can do a quick Google search and you can find those lists and just put them on your fridge or put them somewhere where you're going to notice like, hey, I should be buying that organic. But ideally, if you can afford it, everything should be organic. Pesticides could add weight to us. Our bodies don't know what to do with pesticides. So there's some theories out there that show that pesticides and preservatives cause added weight gain. So it's definitely something to look into if you love searching for information on the internet. But yeah, so starting my day, just oatmeal, black coffee, and I didn't start drinking coffee until I started a nonprofit, which is very difficult to do. But I did not drink coffee all through New York my whole life. And then when I moved my business to LA, I started drinking coffee. And so black coffee, just straight, and because why not be fitness and hardcore person at the same time.
Have you heard of bulletproof coffee? Oh, you probably wouldn't because you're vegan. Have you heard of that, bulletproof coffee?
I have not. What is it?
It's but the only thing I think is grass-fed butter they put in the coffee that's supposed to be for is it? Does that make sense? Grass-fed butter?
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. Grass-fed beef. Grass-fed cows,
Okay, right. Exactly.
Yeah, I've heard of paleo. A lot of paleo people do that.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard so many. I just asked because I've heard so many people talking about it because it has something to do with the ketones and the amount of, that you add with the butter. And so anyway, something to think about for the coffee.
It's supposed to get people a little bit, it's supposed to make you feel fuller. So you don't eat let's say at 10 a.m. You can go out until 12. But another good idea for breakfast, like, so I'll do either like steel cut oats and berries, or I'll do a green shake. So I'll do basically a breakfast NutriBullet style with, the oats and berries and homemade almond milk.
Homemade almond milk.
And, some kale. And ladies out there, kale is so fantastic for energy. If you're like slumping in the middle of the day, or you need to get some extra work done, a quick kale juice or kale smoothie, it'll kick you. Yeah, it'll kick you right into gear.
And you just use the NutriBullet as like something you could buy at Target or somewhere like that. It's not like you have to have this big. So I think some people are turned off from juicing or that kind of thing because of you think it's going to be a big mess and a lot of cleanup. But there's a lot of single servings kind of.
Yeah, the NutriBullet, or I actually have the Ninja. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. Tons of power in that. But yeah, single serving, you just twist it off, and it makes eating healthy really easy. And it cleans really easily too, which is fantastic because we don't have time to clean.
Right, exactly. That's good. That's a good start to the day. Those are great tips. Fantastic. Now, in 2014, you created the after-school program Girl Fit. Tell us about that and the 4 areas of focus that I know the program has.
So I was just praying one day in New York, and I was like, Lord, where's my next stop? New York was just getting to me a little bit, working from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m., just a little crazy. So I'm like, all right, Lord, he sent me to LA, and I get there, and I thought I was going to be training celebrities in Los Angeles, and I get there, and there was not a celebrity to be found. And for some strange reason, I just knew that I wasn't going to be personal training individual clients when I got there. I had a feeling. I'm like, this is not, I don't know if this is going to work. Big fish in a big pond. I don't really know what's going on here, but you know what, Lord, if I can't find a client right now, I'm going to do something for America. I'm just going to do something for the world. And so I contacted Fairfax High School. They are in West Hollywood, but it's very interesting, Elayne. The girls that go to this high school are bussed in from Compton and Inglewood and just a bunch of really hard neighborhoods, East Los Angeles. They're bussed in there. The girls wake up at about maybe 4 or 5 a.m. And they're 14 to 17 years old, and they're hopping on a bus by themselves to get to school. And so I immediately, once I visited the school to meet with the principal, I was offered drugs on campus. I was like, this is exactly where I need to be.
Right.
This place needs help. So I get there, and I just started this program where I'm taking anywhere from 35 to 45 girls after school, doing workouts with them, teaching them about building confidence in themselves, career coaching them, and bringing in CEOs in the area to talk to them about how to be a successful woman in America as a minority. And I knew that this is why I was supposed to go to LA once I started doing it, and everything made sense. One of the first issues I noticed was that the girls could not work out because they did not have proper workout shoes. They didn't have running shoes. So I would sit in on the PE classes and just watch the girls lap the track. And a lot of people don't know this, but Hispanic and African American girls have a higher rate of obesity. And it could be, because of the lack of nutrition and the areas they live in.
Right, the food deserts.
Food deserts, yeah.
Exactly.
And also, they don't have the income in the lower income areas. They don't have the income to purchase a new pair of running shoes, so they can't run. So there's interesting stumbling blocks that maybe the average person wouldn't be able to see, but I was able to see it going in there and doing some field research. And so I was sponsored by Reebok at the time, and Reebok was so sweet. They gave all the girls new sneakers. So I saw about, I would say 4 of my girls lost 10 pounds in a month because they were able to run during PE. So we would do hour-long workouts. And after that, I would kind of stretch it out and force them to stay. And every girl got a card with a motivational quote on it and a positive affirmation. And my program is a ministry. I talk to them about the Lord, and I talk to them about who they are in Christ. And how much God loves them, and just it really just soothes their hearts. because they have so much going against them. And they know what the statistics look like. The statistics are not good. But through just like bringing hope and appreciation to them, they were able to beat statistics. And I am really just so excited to share with your listeners that every single person that has came out of my program has gone to college.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
And I say, there's one gentleman who is in the program. That's why I don't say girls, because it's my girls plus Jose.
Right.
He was just someone who wanted to join the program. I'm like, that is totally fine. Absolutely. So when I was giving out nail polish, it was kind of funny. I was like, Jose, I don't have a present for you, but
we'll find you something.
This is your mom. So yeah, they all have scholarships to go to amazing schools. And all across California, some even on the East Coast. So it has just been such a blessing to me. And they're tough girls. They were pretty tough at first with me. It was kind of like, did you ever see Bring It On?
Yeah. Yes.
I was
you were the
other side.
You were, what's her name? I can't remember. Kirsten Dunst?
Yes.
Got it.
So, they were like, what is this white girl doing here? And she's so happy.
Right.
And, we don't trust her,
Right.
But yeah, they like me now.
But you stuck with it.
I stuck with it.
I love that. Now, that's so great. First of all, congratulations. And thank you for doing such a program as that and caring about this community and, opening up another possibility. That's a thing that a lot of people don't realize. Sometimes people kids, especially young people, need to see what the possibilities are. Like you said, and it could be something that's simple for some of us, but may not be simple for them, like owning a pair of sneakers so you can run, or having access. I know something else you do too is about buying getting grocery cards for them or something like that. So having money to have access to organic food, or just these things that can make a difference in their lives.
Absolutely. And it's all about education.
Right.
And, educating the parents too. By saying, hey, you don't have to go to a fast food chain for dinner. It's so much more affordable to buy whole foods. And instead of buying deep fried French fries, or, they could actually buy the potato.
Right.
And it's a lot more affordable.
And stretch it out. Right.
Yeah.
Instead of having French fries for that one night.
Absolutely.
That's great. Now, how did you choose this particular school? Was it something that was just in the area, or how did you decide which school to start your program?
You know what? It was just through a lot of prayer, and I reached out to probably 20 schools, and they were, it's so funny. They were the only school that got back to me. Maybe the other schools thought, is this real? Is she really coming here?
Right.
Because I think a lot of people do it for publicity. Right. And they're like, oh gosh, this is another publicity stunt. Like, this person just wants to be on TV working with inner city teens. And I was like, no, I don't care if I'm on TV. I don't care. I just want to help out however I can. So I took it almost a year off of personal training and just focused on the program. I was still doing, shows, Dr. Oz, KTLA, different news segments, had different sponsorships going on at the time. But as far as personal training, I was only training them.
So did the sponsorships help maintain you during that time, or sustain you during that time?
Yes, absolutely. And then it was great because the girls always got free stuff.
No, that's good. You make it all work together. So how did that open up things for you, just being in a space of giving? I believe that's so important. And usually that's when things start to open up, when something's not working, and then we decide, okay, how can I give more? And, more doesn't have to be money for you. It's time and information, education. But what kind of things, if anything, do you feel opened up for you after you started that program?
Well, it was really beautiful because I was just able to meet different people in the music production industry. And so it was so sweet to see other people's hearts opening. It's contagious, Elayne. It's so amazing because they would see what I was doing and they're like, wait a second, we want to donate, 100 Lindsay Sterling signed posters to you. We want to donate, these gift cards to your girls. People's hearts just opened up. They really did. And before I knew it, I had Self Magazine contacting me, and they were like, we want to interview you about what you're doing with the girls in Los Angeles, and we want to put you on the front of our website today. I was like, really?
Wow.
Okay, cool. And I was like, girls, you're on the front cover of magazine.
Wow, that's great.
So they always I mean, I would tell them every day, I'm like, make sure you smile. You don't know who's going to see you. And they were kind of smiling when they were taking, Self had a photo of us on the cover. And I was like, hey, I told you to smile.
Right.
You guys, sometimes they don't believe me. But yeah, people's hearts have been definitely open, from people donating gas money for me to drive from San Francisco to Los Angeles. Once I moved back to San Francisco, I was driving back about every other week. I do art therapy with the girls as well. So that's the way
That's the way the art comes
integrate
back
my
in.
painting background. And so people would donate art supplies. Just amazing, amazing what people's hearts just, once they're opened up to giving, what can happen.
So we'll have a link to Girl Fit and all the other things that you're doing so people can also find out how to contribute and ways to give back. But I think that's so amazing. And it's a program that's still ongoing, right? You're still doing it now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely what would help right now is any gift cards to grocery stores in the Los Angeles area. That's always a plus for the girls to be able to go grocery shopping on their own, or with their parents. And any fitness equipment or fitness clothing that you don't want, feel free to send it over. And that way they'll have some nice workout clothes so they can feel good while they're working out. So that definitely helps too.
That's a good one. Now, talking about your business, just being in the fitness industry, you have this other component, nonprofit component, which is fantastic. What do you think people misunderstand about the business of fitness, though? Because I feel like it's getting, it's always been popular, but just now with television and some of the reality shows and some of the things that people see, like you said, of working with celebrities, and they think that, you get them to lift a few weights and now you're a celebrity trainer. So what is it that you feel like people misunderstand about your industry?
Well, it's very confusing because you look on Instagram and you look on, all aspects of social media, and you see these people that are really into themselves. But actually, if you're a fitness professional, it's about giving to the other person. It's about inspiring and motivating and declaring success over that person's life. And it's not all about, oh, look at me, look at my abs, look at how amazing I look. Like, that's great that you look amazing, but there's someone over there that needs your help. So I think we're missing a connection, and it's become this me society. And all those hours people are spending taking tons of selfies, they could be spending, hey, I'm going to give back to my community. We have a 20 to 30% obesity rate in teens. 66 to 80% of inner city girls are overweight, about 30% obesity. And so we do see it in those populations so much more. So, I mean, it's frustrating that we're not doing something about this. And as Americans, our national obesity rate is about 30%, 35%. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting because we're spending more money on fitness products and more money on diets and diet books, diet pills, when our obesity rates are going up. So something is going on, and it's so complex, Elayne.
Let's see. Now, what would you say that having a business, the greatest lesson having a business has taught you about yourself as a woman?
I definitely think that it's taught me about we have no limits, on what we can do. And Hillary Clinton, bless her heart, I mean, she's just breaking through the glass ceiling right now. And now is just an amazing time to be a woman. We have a long ways to go. But I think I was just talking to my husband the other day, women in business are, it's such a gift because we're better communicators than men. Women speak many more words per day than men do. And there's a compassionate and a warmness that comes from women. Even if you don't realize it, there is. And it's so important. We look at the stay-at-home mom. We look at, these charitable causes a lot more openly than, let's say, a man in business does. And they're integral parts of our business. A lot of my clients are stay-at-home moms, and they have a lot to say too. And they get left behind in a lot of, presentations and a lot of TV shows and a lot, it's not okay. And so let's say, a woman in business is more likely to raise funds for, let's say, a village in Nepal who creates jewelry. A woman that lives in America can say, hey, I want want to employ that woman. I want to sell what she's making in America and give all the profits back to her. So we're able to see we're connected. We're just so interconnected. And it's a great time to be a woman in America. And what we have to do, ladies, we really have to inspire the generation that's coming up right now, and the girls that are in elementary, middle school, and high school, and tell them that it's possible. And say, you don't have to be what your parents were. You can be whatever, you really can be whatever you want. And, I know it's instinctual to say, do something that's going to make you money, but you can really do anything and it will make you money and be happy.
Right. You have to figure out how to package it or how to present it to people in a way that's meaningful for them. As you said, that's not all about you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to feel fulfilled in what you're doing.
That's beautiful. Now, a quote that you had on your on Facebook, I think I saw it. It said, "Nothing you've been through will be wasted. God uses it all." So in what ways have your challenges made you stronger? Is there an example of ways that something you've been through has really made you stronger?
Yeah, definitely. I would say my mom leaving, which is very rare for, I remember I had a roommate. I went to school in Australia for a semester, and she's from Zimbabwe. And she said, "Wait, your mom left?" Like, that's unheard of. And she just couldn't figure it out. She was dumbfounded. Whereas a lot of people in America were like, "Oh, your mom left." That's like kind of normal for someone to leave. It made me so strong, Elayne. All those tears, I spent like 8 years of just crying every day and wondering, why me, why me? It made me so much stronger because now in so many different ways, I can encourage that person who comes to me at 330 pounds and can't lose weight and thinks, "You've never been through anything. You don't know anything about me." I'm like, "Oh, I've been through a lot. I have been through, it almost is like God gives us those hard times to strengthen us, to encourage someone else. Like, that journey sometimes wasn't even for us. It was to motivate and inspire another person. And sometimes that bad situation, like let's say if my mom had stayed in our family, it would have been a lot worse.
Right. Do you mind sharing?
So much worse.
Do you mind sharing with us? And of course you don't have to, but what the situation was? Was it just you came home, your family came home and she wasn't there? Or was it an argument and she walked out? Or what was the circumstance of your mom leaving? Yeah. And then how, as you're mentioning now, but just how you moved forward.
Yeah. So she picked me up from school about 2 hours late one day. And she was like, I'm pregnant and your dad is not the father. And she was just yelling at me. And I'm pretty sure she had alcohol issues and drug issues. And she was just like, "You're a spoiled brat and your brother is too, and I'm leaving." And so she left and she married someone else and she just went on with her life. I've definitely in my heart forgiven her. Tried to reconnect, but she's very emotionally unstable, has a lot of mental health issues, and it makes her almost incapable of ever having a relationship with me again, even though I've tried so many times. But I've found that when you have something missing in your life, in the Bible it says, when your mother or father forsake you, the Lord will keep you. And my aunt, by the way, never had kids and never got married. So she always was joking at 85. She's like, "At 85, I became a mom." She really did. Like my brother's like sneaking out of her house at 1 a.m. to go hang out with his friends. And she's like a really old woman. And she's like, "What the heck is happening here?" And so she never got married because she never thought a guy was good enough for her.
Oh my gosh, I love her.
So everything works out for good. It really, really does, and it doesn't seem like that at the time. And I always say, "Lord, thank you that she didn't stay in our house until I was 18." That could have been really bad, having someone who was suffering with alcoholism and also mental health issues. That really probably would have messed me up. So it's kind of like a blessing in disguise.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. What does your support network look like now? Who is your in business and in your personal life? I know you just got married.
Yes,
a few months. Well, a little while ago, but sort of still newlyweds.
Yeah, so he's my best friend, and right when we got married, I was like, I hope you know you're my business partner now because that's just what's going to happen. It was funny on our second date, I had to do some photos for Reebok because they were sponsoring me at the time, and I'm like, okay, second date. By the way, I need you to take some photos for my sponsor. And he's like, okay. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go get my workout clothes, and we're going to go over here at a park, and so he really cheers me on. He actually was one of my fitness models in, I write for livestrong.com, and they're like, we need a male model in your next article. And I was like, male model. He's in shape. We work out every day. He's definitely going to be in that photo.
Right.
So he's my biggest cheerleader, and he's my support team. And then also there's a pastor in New York who is just phenomenal with me every step of the way. So Pastor George Gregory has just been amazing in discipling me, mentoring me. And you do need a mentor. You need someone older than you to speak wisdom into your life. It's really hard to do it without that. And, sometimes there's services that wiser and older entrepreneurs provide. And that's good too. I remember I had one when I first started my business. It was around $900 a month, but I don't know what I would have done without her. She taught me a lot about what was needed to start a business. And she was I could call her at any time I wanted. So ladies out there, even if you have to pay for an entrepreneur, an entrepreneur coach or someone just to bounce ideas off of is really important. There's always your best friend too.
Right. And how did you, I think that's such a great thing to mention. How did you go about finding this coach or not your mentor is separate, this coach that you mentioned that you paid $900 a month?
Yeah. I just looked online for a business coach.
Right.
And I think I was like 23 years old. I was just silly. And I didn't investigate. But she ended up being amazing. So
that's good. And at that age, it's interesting that you knew to do that because so many people I feel like are just now starting to, or maybe, actually it's just my own awareness of it now, but I'm hearing it more. People talking about the importance of a business coach or having whatever kind of coach. People have coaches in all kinds of different areas, but it's becoming more pop. People are realizing the importance of it.
Absolutely. And you have to invest in yourself before other people are going to invest in you.
Right. And it's interesting, too, to hear how many successful or what we deem successful people talk about their own coaches. It's like they have a team that includes, of course, accountants and all these publicists and other things. They're like, and that's my coach and that's my mentor. And that's my, when we're thinking, oh, they are the mentors and stuff for us. We didn't think about the fact that they have mentors, too.
It's phenomenal. It's just like, it's like having your family. I'm Italian, so everything's like family. It's like literally like bouncing ideas off of family. And, it's someone who's never going to judge you and never going to criticize you. And then, you need that tough love sometimes. Like, please, Holly, do not come out with, a fitness video for dogs. Just don't do it. Just don't do it.
People to reel you in. I love that. So just a couple more questions. I really appreciate your time. What's next for you? What are you most excited about?
So I am going to be in fitness for the rest of my life. I love fitness, and a lot of my clients are making great progress. And the ones who aren't, get your crap together. No, I'm kidding. So my husband and I are starting a church in San Francisco, and Girl Fit is going to be part of that. So our opening day is going to be somewhere in January, but it's going to be this upcoming January 17th. And it's called Vista, and it's a non-denominational Christian church. Our goal is to really reach out to the homeless community in San Francisco and really, just love on people and show them that, it's the best thing in life is to be generous and to give to each other and to create a community where people feel safe and they feel loved and not judged. So I'm really excited about that, and just continuing, just pouring out my love onto the teenage girls in the inner city. I mean, they need a good role model.
So one of my final questions for you, if you think over your life and career and you had a chance to thank only one person whose support was critical to you personally or professionally, who would that be and what would you say?
Okay, so one person.
One person.
Okay. Oh my goodness. My best friend Ksenia has been like with me on the road of life through from my when I started my business to now, and just you need someone when you're starting a business. You need a cheerleader. You need someone to love on you and to hear you cry at 3 a.m. So yeah, just big thanks to her. And she used to hug me a lot, and I'm not a big hugger. And so I would just stand there like a stick, and she'd be like, "You need a hug," and I would just go like this, like, "No, I don't. I don't need a hug." And she'd be like, "No, you need a hug, you New Yorker. I'm giving you a hug." Yeah, she's just been like an integral part of building a business and just seeing it from every point of view.
I love that. So how can we support you? We talked about some of the ways, some of the organization that you have, GirlFit, and some other things you're doing. What's a way that we can support you and hug you virtually?
Definitely, if you work for a company you think would like to donate to GirlFit, it's a 501c3. It's a nonprofit, so it's tax deductible for that business. If your business would like to donate, anywhere from the girls have their biggest need, I would say, would be healthy food. So I know this is sad to hear, but one of the main reasons that girls aren't eating right is they don't have enough money for food because the food stamps just don't cut it. It's just not enough food. So they'll come to class hungry quite a bit. And, of course, that affects learning, and it's going to affect the way they feel about themselves throughout the day. It's just that stigma on them. So, if you work for a company or if they'd like to donate workout shoes, any workout equipment, feel free to email me.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I really appreciate you, Holly.
Thank you for having me.
I can't remember how we met, obviously, when you were in New York, and I remember running in the park, but was it at an event or something or
yeah,
play? It was something. It's been a few years
now. At the Women in Business
conference.
It was a conference.
Yes, that's
and
right.
We met really briefly at, I think it was at the bottom of the Dream Hotel. They're having like an after reception.
Yes, that's it.
And Gwyneth Paltrow spoke, and a lot of really influential businesswomen spoke.
That's right.
But yeah, that was so funny. That was maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Yes,
3 years ago.
That's great. It's so great to remain connected and to see all the great things that you're doing. I remember you were talking about being a trainer and all of those things then. So it's been fantastic to see you continue to move in that direction in new ways.
Yes. Oh my goodness. You as well. I remember you telling me about your show, and I was just so excited. I'm like, yes, you're following your dreams, and that's what life is all about, doing what you love to do and somehow trying to make a living at it.
That's right.
And you're doing it.
That's right.
And you're very successful at it too. And I'm so happy to see that you're doing well, and that, you look phenomenal, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I try. Thank you.
I'm like, you definitely don't need any of my fitness advice. You do a great job.
No, the almond milk, though, I'm going to follow up. I want that recipe. We need it. I love it. So,
and who knows? You might be a vegan before we know it.
Yeah, well, I am. I'm a vegan.
You are?
Yeah, I started in November 2000. It's been almost 2 years, and it was because not because of any big awareness with me, but because I watched one too many food documentaries. That's what I tell people. It changed everything. But I have to tell you, I have been thinking in the past few months about adding fish back into the diet I don't know what it's going to be, once or whatever week, because I don't think I'm doing it exactly right. Not to make this all about me, so I don't know if I'm getting enough protein. So maybe I can talk to you after this or later about maybe there's some other things I can add and don't have to add fish back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'll help you.
Yeah. Because I feel like that there's a point where you not level up. I wasn't doing it to lose weight. I actually was doing it just to experiment. And I do notice not having dairy is great, and cutting out some of the other things has been really good. But I feel like I'm starting to crash a little bit. Like I don't feel as balanced. I think people say after a couple of years or so, you kind of need to adjust things. You can't just keep eating the same things as a vegan. So I think I'm there. And then I was like, maybe I need to add fish, but maybe it's something else.
Oh, yeah. We'll chat.
Yay.
We don't have to kill the poor little fish.
Okay. I don't want to, but
you don't have to.
Okay. So what's a parting piece of advice you have for our listeners before you go?
I would just say, it might look like you're in the middle of a storm. It might look like, you'll never get the funding. It might look like you'll never be successful. or your dogs are barking.
I love it.
So just always just keep that vision in front of you of what you want your business to look like. Keep that vision in front of you of where you see yourself in 2, 3, 5, 10 years, and just hold on to that. And those hard moments, that's what you're going to need to have in front of you. In the recession, I was like, no, I'm still going to be a celebrity trainer. I don't care what it takes. And you have to have that attitude, just doing whatever it takes, being truthful and not killing anyone, being a good citizen. But really, it takes the extra mile. And my aunt always said, she was like, Rome was not built in a day. You cannot try to do this overnight. But after experience, after trial and error, a lot of mistakes, you will get there. And if you want to enough. And that's a lot of advice, but yeah.
No, it's excellent. Thank you so much, Holly. Hold on for just 1 second.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to that episode of the Support is Sexy podcast. And I do hope that you got some inspiration from it. And the challenge is for you to do at least one thing. Take one thing from the episode, at least one thing. You can always do more, but at least one thing that will help you move one step closer to your dream. Whether that's launching a business, writing a book, whatever that thing is that you want to do, take something from this episode and move one step closer. And what I'll also ask of you, if you can tell me what you think about the episodes, what we've been doing, what you want to hear, what you like, what you experience while you're listening, go over to iTunes, leave us a review, and let me know what's going on. What are you thinking? What are you feeling about the show? What else can I do to be of service to you, which is what this is all about, to be of support to you. That's our buzzword, right? You can also go to my website, elaynefluker.com/podcast. So that's ELAYNEFLUKER.com/podcast. Hear more episodes there. Also have a bunch of great videos, tons of information. It's where I'm going to be spending a lot of time, and it's where I'd love to connect with you. So again, thank you so much for listening. I truly appreciate you and your support. And the most important thing I want you to remember is having it all does not mean doing it all alone. So now, go out there and create something sexy, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.